So according to AI, there are 19 things that you shouldn't buy from the supermarket, and of course Mr. GPT could be right or wrong, so we're gonna go through 19 of these ideas and rate them as either mid or as top notch. Item number 1, pre-cut fruits and vegetables. Again, if I go through anything that you disagree with, let me know in the comments, or if there's something I need to add to the list, let us know as well. When it comes to the idea of buying my watermelon already cubed up for me, the convenience sounds great. But man, whenever I look at the actual price tag, that 1/3 of a watermelon that's cubed up is like 3 times the cost of the whole watermelon if I bought it and cut it myself. I think the last giant melon I bought from Costco was $4.99, and then buying one of the pre-cut packages from Publix cost me like $12. So most likely, if you're looking for bigger savings in your groceries, it's better to cut the pre-cut fruit. I like that. So for this item, I'm giving ChatGPT a top-notch rating. Item 2. Pre-packaged rice or grains, microwavable packs. Obviously, if you're gonna package anything in a small microwavable portion, it's gonna cost more once again for the convenience. Personally, I have never purchased a portion of rice that was fit for just one person. Every time I make rice, it is through my reliable rice cooker. I create it in batches, and then of course, if I need to put it away or I wanna pre-plan for future meals, I'm gonna break it up into different containers. And in fact, one awesome way that you can prep your rice meals throughout the week is by freezing it. Just get one of those freezable bags, put the rice in there, and honestly, once you pop that frozen rice in the microwave, it's gonna come out as if you just made it today. This item from ChatGPT is getting another top-notch rating. Item 3. Single-serve coffee pods. Honestly, you guys are gonna have to let me know in the comments if those single-serve coffee pods are worth it. For me, the only kind of coffee I've really come across is the instant coffee. That seems pretty simple and super cheap. You just scoop the thing out, drop it in some hot water, and bada bing, bada boom. I probably just offended some coffee connoisseurs out there. What might be interesting though is comparing the cost of a coffee pod to 1 tablespoon of that instant coffee. And without even doing the math, I'm pretty sure that tablespoon is gonna be a lot cheaper than that individually nicely packaged pod. And for this item, I'm giving it another top-notch rating. Congratulations, Mr. GPT. Microwave popcorn. All right, straight up, mid. Who really eats popcorn that much? Sometimes I'm walking through grocery stores and I see like these pre-made huge bags of popcorn and I'm like, who's actually buying that? If I'm gonna be watching a movie at home, man, I am breaking out one of those microwavable popcorn bags. I think it's the perfect serving. It's already like pre-buttered and flavored in there, and I'm not about to break out a pot or buy an entire popcorn machine in order to get my quick fix. If you use an air popper or like make your popcorn on a stovetop, let me know how it works. Does it taste better? I'm interested to know. Item 5, packaged cookies. I get the logic here from ChatGPT, but the alternative they give us is to bake our own cookies in bulk. That does make sense from a price perspective, but as far as like health, it's not really any healthier. And first of all, if we're making cookies, are we trying to be healthy? And my only other concern with trying to make all your cookies at home is that some of them are just a little tough to pull off. For example, if you love Oreos, those are probably more difficult to make at home. Like, what is that white stuff in the middle even made of? So I'm gonna have to give this item a mid rating from ChatGPT. Item number 6, bottled water. Man, I've talked about bottled water too much on this channel, but I'm rating this one top notch. According to ChatGPT here, apparently it's often more expensive to get a gallon of water versus a gallon of gasoline. Is chat right? Let me know. And of course, the alternative they give us is to just use a water filter and to refill your reusable water bottles. You know, I'm all about the non-name brand bottles. They work just fine. You don't need the Stanley, the Yeti, or what's cool now, the Owala. So I'm gonna have to go with top notch when it comes to water bottles. Item 7, Lunchables or pre-made lunch kits. I'll be honest, as a kid growing up, my parents never bought me Lunchables because even at that time, we never thought of those things as a full meal. Typically, I would just get the school lunch, and if I were to go on a field trip, my mom would pack like this Spam and egg sandwich. But as far as the price of these Lunchables, I think they are very overpriced and they're not very nutritious. And I know Mr. Beast is trying to do something with Lunchly to be more healthy, but honestly, it's just another stream of income for Beast Enterprises. So if you just really crave having circular crackers, meats, and cheeses for lunch, heck, just go and buy the Ritz crackers or get the summer sausage separately, get the Colby Jack cheese and chop that up so that you have a never-ending supply of Lunchables. This item is gonna go up on the top-notch shelf. Item number 8, shredded cheese. This one makes sense, all right? It costs more to buy these like pre-shredded cheeses, but for me, that is all I use. That is a staple in our household, just getting the shredded Colby Jack cheese. It's so easy to just break out of the bag, sprinkle over my eggs in the morning, sprinkle over my salad for dinner, and I don't want to be breaking out a block of cheese and grating it up because it's annoying to clean cheese graters. I'm gonna say it. And if you have a hack to clean them better and easier, don't gatekeep that. Let us know in the comments. So from personal preference, I gotta put shredded cheese as mid. Just mid. And I just scrolled down farther and ChatGPT gives some interesting recommendations later on in the video. Item number 9, salad kits. This is another classic case of paying a premium for the convenience. I understand with certain house salads, it's not very complicated to get the ingredients yourself. For example, just grabbing some romaine lettuce, some spinach, carrots, onions, chop it all up, throw it all together, easy peasy lemon squeezy. But for something a little bit more complex, like those Asian chopped salads that I love, you gotta get some little crackers, some little nuts, some other ramen noodle crackers, I don't even know. But there's just a lot of ingredients that go into that. And for me personally, trying to source all of those things can get a little annoying, and I probably wouldn't use everything evenly. So I'm gonna have to put prepackaged salads as mid. And not just for the fact that it takes a while to source all the different salad ingredients, but sometimes, man, when you're invited to a potluck and you gotta whip something up really quick, you buy one of the prepackaged salads, you put it in a bowl of your own, and it looks like you prepped this all by yourself. Anyone else? Anyone? Item 10, bakery cakes and cupcakes. ChatGPT gives us the obvious answer that making your own baked goods at home is gonna be a fraction of the cost, but honestly, for me, I view baking as like a whole science experiment, and I don't trust myself. If you give me a grill or you give me a pan on a stove, I'm comfortable, but if you tell me that I need to have this amount of teaspoon of baking soda in order for this thing to work, then I get a little antsy. So let's be honest here. I gotta rate this item as mid for myself, but for others, it might be a top-notch hack. When you think about it, how many cakes do I really need to buy in a year? I have my birthday, my wife's birthday, sometimes my parents, and like, that's it. Unless you're Nick Cannon, who has a lot of kids' birthdays to celebrate, this particular hack might not move the needle much in your financial journey. And again though, making cakes is, it means more. It means more. So there's definitely a place for it, but for me, I'll have to rate it as mid. Item 11, trail mix or flavored nuts. I'm gonna just straight up say this one's pretty mid because for most people, we're not going out to source different nuts to mix all together in one. I am no Martha Stewart or Joanna Gaines to be making my own homemade granola bars. I'm sure they're delicious if you make them, and maybe I just need to try it, but for my particular lifestyle, I don't know, it's just easier to buy it in one whole. And they're not even that expensive really. I guess it's the same principle as salad kits, and maybe I'm not the most frugal person, so let me know, is it worth it to create your own trail mix or like granola bars? It seems pretty fun, maybe we'll make a video about it. Or maybe one of you needs to be featured on the channel to show us how to do it. Item 12, cleaning supplies. All right, this one's pretty interesting because it is calling out supermarkets specifically in their sale of cleaning supplies. They say that you can get this cheaper at either the dollar store or different wholesale clubs like Costco or BJ's. My only thing with cleaning supplies is you actually could unlock some great deals through the use of coupons. For example, sometimes Target will give you a fire deal on some laundry detergent by using the Target Circle app. So I'm gonna have to put this one at mid, but in most cases, if you don't have a bomb coupon, it is probably a better idea to get your supplies from the dollar store or a wholesale club. Item 13, over-the-counter medications. The reason this item is something to avoid at supermarkets is because you probably aren't getting the best price at a supermarket. Obviously, a supermarket doesn't specialize in only health products, so they don't have as much room to negotiate a good price from these wholesale sellers. But if you're a pharmacy chain or a wholesale club already, you have more more volume to bring in these over-the-counter medications and can obviously negotiate a better rate so that your customers don't have to pay as much. This, of course, is all just theory and the reason why ChatGPT is putting this on the list. So I'm gonna just put this one at mid because I don't know how proven this really is. Item number 14, frozen dinners. If we're talking about single serving frozen dinners, I don't think that's as good of a deal as the frozen dinners that can create multiple meals. Like recently, one deal that I find really good for my wife and I is getting these frozen meals of like a Kung Pao chicken from Trader Joe's. That frozen pack can sustain us for at least 4 meals along with the frozen rice we kept in our freezer from earlier, and that has served us just really well as a convenient meal that we can quickly whip up if we don't really feel like cooking a full-on dinner. And it's still cheaper than ordering takeout. So I'm gonna put frozen dinners as mid because there are some uses for it. It might just be the convenient meal that's a step below you cooking a fresh dinner, but a step above you ordering takeout. Item 15, bacon or deli meats. And we're talking about the pre-sliced packs. Obviously, ChatGPT calls out the price per pound to be higher with these pre-cut meats, just like the pre-cut vegetables and fruits, but their alternative is to buy meat in bulk or from a butcher and to slice it yourself. Personally, I've never sliced up my own bacon before, and when it comes to deli meats, I've never bought a whole piece of ham and sliced it thinly to be used in my future sandwiches, unless it was Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna put this item at mid, but if you are someone that does that, please share all the hacks to saving on deli meats. We love to hear about it. And if you want another place where you can get other ideas from more of our community, we do have a free Facebook group called the Frugal Rich Community. The link is in the description. It's completely free for the first 10,000 members. And I look forward to talking to you guys in there. Item 16 is soda, specifically the individual bottles and cans. I'm gonna put this one in top notch. First of all, keeping soda in the house is dangerous for me, but if you're gonna do it, might as well get the big 2-liter instead of paying a premium to get these fancy little cans. The only reason this would make more sense to me is if you're going to a party or maybe a beach trip with friends, and it's just convenient to have these individual sizes for all the people there. Item 17, fresh herbs. Specifically the ones in the clamshell packs. Chat says that these are expensive and will spoil quickly, and that is true. But one way you can keep your herbs from spoiling is by throwing them in the freezer once again. And recently, since my wife and I are getting into planting things, we're trying to start off with herbs instead of jumping straight into like vegetables and fruits. Herbs just seem like a lower lift thing to grow in your backyard. And hopefully that becomes our main source of herbs, just from our own garden. The only thing though is I'm gonna give this one a mid rating because sometimes these fresh herbs in these small clamshell packs can be useful because I don't use thyme all the time, so might as well just get a small pack for this particular dish I'm making. So there are some uses for the smaller serving. Item 18, specialty breads, artisan or organic. This is a good one to consider. Of course, people with bread makers have no use for buying these kinds of breads in store, or if you have a bakery nearby and you can get the heavily discounted goods just because they're a day old, that'd be a steal for you. So I'm gonna put this item at mid because it might not apply to many people. Item number 19, small canned goods. I'm gonna have to put this one at mid because there have been plenty of times where I've gotten a large can of corn or a can of black beans thinking I'm being smart by getting the one cheaper per ounce. But in the end, I only used a small portion of this for my meal, and then I would think I can just let it sit there in my fridge until the next time I need it, and of course it always just goes bad. So personally, for someone that doesn't have to cook for too many people, it helps to have the smaller cans because they fit a specific meal size. Obviously, a common thread that we've seen amongst these items is that there is a premium for convenience. And if you want to know some items that I do buy from the grocery store, I have a video right here where I share 22 items that are able to sustain my wife and I each week with our groceries. So give it a click and I'll see you guys over there. Peace.